Hello everyone, welcome back to City Skylines. My name is Solitary. Today we're going to be continuing our build our first city together. In the last episode we started our little city by laying the groundwork off the back of um, these two 6-lane roads here and getting our water supply started and building our first school so our citizens could begin their education. Um, it was a great start. But there really is more work we could do, and more work we will do. So, kind of wrapping or pulling from last episode, we'd said we wanted to get our city named. We wanted to get some couple of districts in here, and I did really want to kind of flesh this out so it doesn't just end kind of awkwardly in this straight line road here. So, with that, let's get started. And I think for the time being, we'll go ahead and change our name here to First City because this will be our first city together. And then let's throw in some districts. We're not going to be too specific with these. Really, we're just looking to kind of get the building themes out of them, and kind of get the areas covered so that we can kind of work with some of the assets that we have available to us. So let's get that drawn in. And we have a triangle called Dale Square. So we may definitely want to get that changed. We'll bring this down till we get it kind of renamed later. And kind of fill this in. And let's see here. So, and then we have Crescent Square. So I guess it's fitting given the grid that we're using, but we'll work with those for now, and then come back and kind of fill them in and rename them a little bit later. Let's get just a little bit more edging there, a little more edging around the edge of the road here. That snapping is a little rough. All right, close enough and good enough. So we've got them named. So let's go in here, grab our themes. We're going to enable Theme Manager. So for this first theme, this is kind of going to be, I think, the initial starting point of the town, because it's got the school. So we're going to go with our historic small town and historic small town business. And then over here, I think we're going to go with just our Small Town USA and Small Town Business. These are a little more modern, a little more kind of what you'd expect to see in America. So we've kind of got those going, and as they level up, they'll kind of change away from these initial starting buildings. So let's go ahead and get out of that. And then one of the things we really wanted to do last episode and kind of want to take care of today is kind of fleshing this out. So we'll get the simulation running so that those structures can start building out into those building themes, kind of filling in. And one of the things I'm thinking here is that, the area around the river is going to be a pretty popular place to go. Waterfront property is pretty popular. So I think we're going to come in and take care of probably expanding at least a little bit over to here and kind of curving it back up into the main town. So we're going to run out our grid for just a little bit more here, and we'll turn on our anarchy, and I'm going to run it up to about there. And let's just fill this in. So the hope is that we kind of give this a more natural feel of a city kind of growing in towards filling out some easy to build space, but then really kind of trying to drive into that waterfront line where it'd be more attractive. So we'll come down there. And then I think to kind of give us a guide, I think this will probably be a pretty good angle here. We're going to back this off, and we're just going to run this kind of straight out and then kind of over. And let's make this a bit nicer of a curve. So what do we got? There's 5. And there's 5. So let's get rid of this. And turn on our road guidelines. They are on. We'll curve that in. So that kind of gives that a little bit more natural look. And then we'll just bring this. See if we can do this. Bring this straight in. And yeah, I think that looks all right. And then we'll just kind of fill in from there our grid network. Let's bring these over. I think that one will work pretty good there. Let's see. So bring that straight over as well. And then turn off our road guidelines here. They're kind of getting in our way a little bit. Trying to get to that 20 unit mark. Oh, and we're so close there. So I think what I want to do then with that being that way is I'm going to back this off. I'm going to bring that one in. I'm going to bring this one just out here, and then we'll bring it in. That way we can kind of connect both those up and we maintain kind of that square grid pattern for building. We'll leave that open for now. Bringing those in, and then we'll just continue this down. And let's see, what do we get here? 20 right there. All right, and then we'll just bring the U down here to kind of fill in some space, and same over here. All right, so that'll kind of flesh that out. Now, one of the things I'm thinking we can do to kind of add to the effect of this roadway is I'd actually like to bring that roadway in here. So we're going to kind of tear up this area a little bit because I think it'd be nice to kind of have that kind of curve in and be part of the natural roadway going that way. So let's get rid of this and this. And then let's grab our curved road tool, turn on our road guidelines, and we'll bring that in like that. And I think that kind of gives us, that way that roadway feels more intentional about going over in this direction. So we'll want to go ahead and fix this one, and then we'll fix that one as well. So let's come in here and fix our zoning. Let's see, we'll fill you in. I'm going to get rid of these so I can see a little bit better. Fill you in, and we'll fill you in. And then I think we'll just kind of fill in these little gaps. Right there. Again, I don't really like the little one block things. I think that the one block housing is just not very, very nice to look at. So we have that kind of running at the moment, and we filled in our thing. Now what we want to do is make sure that we get our district kind of in line with the area that it's supposed to cover. So we'll pull this out, and then we'll bring this up, and we'll fix it here in just a minute. All right, so we've got you kind of along there and there. So I think we'll kind of bring this back along the road here. That way we can have another district on the other side, and we may even eventually upgrade this roadway, depending on how much traffic we see and what else we decide to put over there. All right, cleaned up. There we go. So now we've got Crescent Square and Dale Square kind of squared away. Ha! Pun intended. So Oh, nope, I lied. Look at that. Now, now they're squared away. All right. So I think with the size of the town, 1600, we had come in and put in, our police station, and I believe, yeah, right here's our little fire station. Given the way the fire station's on this 6-lane road, I don't really like that. I think we could put a commercial zoning there. And then the police station, again, for me, is more of especially this asset is more of like a city hall, than it is to just kind of sit where it's sitting. I think there needs to be a little more attention drawn to it. And one of the areas we were looking at last time, I think would be a good area would be like right here. This will give us, kind of gives us a great aesthetic appeal, as well as access to this 6-lane road once we're done. So I think one of the things we're going to do is come in here first, and we're going to flatten this area. I think let's see, what's that look like at the ground level? Yeah, I think we'll kind of stick with about this size, and we'll have to come back in and make some minor adjustments, but kind of flatten it out here. And eventually we'll kind of smooth it as well, just enough to make it workable. That's, as I look at that, I'm thinking that's actually quite a bit of terrain separation there, and it's coming down. So why don't we actually bring this up so we get less of that? We'll get it over here, but that'll be a lot easier to smooth, especially since we're wanting to kind of connect into the 6-lane right there. I think that looks a little bit better. Smooth this out here. There we go. Same along here. Let's kind of bring it out, and then kind of pull that back just a hair. All right. So, as a city center, you'd probably have a fair bit of traffic, but in a city this size, you're really not going to have a whole lot, I don't think. So I'm thinking we're going to come in and we're going to grab one ways, and we're going to come off this with one ways. But let's start here, and this will allow us to put some zoning in right there, some commercial zoning in, likely right there. It's a little bit of a grade, but that's not too bad. And then from here, city center, police station in my hometown kind of has has its own little like parking lot in the front, and I don't think we want to do too much of a parking lot again for the city of this size. So I think if we come off, how big is, yeah, so we can go right to that one. So let's see, what do we got here? That's 10, so that's 5. So let's come up to there. And then let's see, that's 5. Did I get that right? No. So right, well, there we go. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's get rid of that, and let's bring that in. Looking pretty good so far. Square up our edges here and bring this back as far as we can without really affecting its ability to curve in. And before we add our roadways, we're going to turn on zoning here so we can put our police station up there. Let's go ahead and put in our parking lot. Let's see. I think we would have some handicap parking up front, but at the back side, I think we'll be all right. So let's put this, let's see where we at. Let's put that there. Then we'll add some handicap parking in, and then we'll come over here and finish it off. And it's not going to be perfectly even, but that's all right. With the handicap parking, I think that'll work. We'll come back in here and we'll just adjust this ever so slightly, kind of cover that up. All right. So first little spot for our city center. Let's go ahead and grab our police station and let's move that right there. And I like that a lot. I think that really adds some character there. Then we'll want to go in and we're going to want to relocate our fire station. But I think I'm looking at this. Yeah, that might be our best choice. I mean, some of these look pretty nice, but I think I like that one the best. So we'll put in a little access roadway. We still don't have that, so we'll use our little drive here. And I think with the fire station, I'm just going to bring this off about there and up. All right, and we'll move our fire station. And we're going to move that right there. All right, let's see. It's yelling at me for water. So follow our roads here. We'll loop that back around just to stay consistent with the roads. And same for this one. All right, so that kind of gives us our fire and police stations. We already have our medical doctor's office here on the corner. So I think that's all right. And then we'll want to bring in, let's see. So the hospital in my hometown is kind of on the same area as the police department, but I think we can do something over here just to kind of add a little bit of character to it. And it'll help kind of bring in, fill in a need for kind of in this area for more medical care. We don't really need it yet. I mean, as you can see, we only have 6 citizen, but eventually this will kind of grow and expand as we add density to our downtown. And these structures will need to increase in density themselves to keep up with it. So I'm thinking just this little small town hospital, to kind of add to the effect, and we can put some parking out here for that. So let's see, that's about midway in between. And then if we come in to our roads here, we can kind of grab that and we'll bring that there. So grab our drive, drop that down. And I think I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to leave this disconnected. I think that'd be too many little interchanges there. Let's look at our roadway here. And I think we probably get away with bringing this up just a smidgen so it doesn't look too terribly bad. We'll have to correct this height when we create our bridge, but we'll probably lose some of our facilities over there as well. Some of our buildings, commercial buildings, when we do that, because we'll make it a raised section. So let's grab our parking lot here, and let's see. We'll start. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I need to square this up a little, make it a little bit easier. There we go. Then we're gonna bring you back just like that. And then let's take you and you, And let's align you to that height. Did that work? I don't think it did. Let's go there, to object height, there. Let's see if that fixes our parking lot here. Not quite. I think that terrain's going to create some issues for us, but that's okay. Not all the parking lots have to have perfect lines. Not everything is perfect in these areas. So then we'll grab you, and let's get you as good as we can. There we go. Let's see. You're probably a little much, so we'll have to bring this one over. There we go. And we'll start with you. And we'll bring you in just there. And I think we can fix some of that terrain clipping if we bring this up just a hair more. So that's better. It's not perfect, but I think that's all right. We're already actually, well, if we're gonna do that, let's just make everything work. There we go. So if we look at our road, it kind of comes up a little, which is fine. Flattens out, and then this will be the bridge over to the other side eventually once we once we get over there. So we've got our little hospital, our little city center, and let's throw a little bit of a district over here just so we have it and we can use the themes for it. And we'll just kind of wrap up. We're not going to do a whole lot over here. It's going to be a smaller district just because of the terrain. And I don't really want to dig into the hillside there until we absolutely have to. If we even decide to. We may leave it as a kind of natural feature for the town. And Hawthorne Heights, we'll just call this... we'll just call this Hillside for now. Hillside City. What would a Hillside Municipal Center. There we go. So that's kind of the town center. We're going to grab this. Don't forget to add our themes. And I think we'll use this as a kind of a historic as well. And that we'll do that in case we decide to put in any residential. But we are going to come in here and we are going to add our commercial buildings out here in front. Let's see. What do you need? Wealthier customers. That will come with time. So we have City Hall, a little hospital for the small town to start, and our fire department. One of the things my fire department has is we have a water tower kind of out near that. I'd like to get a more custom. Here we go. I think that'll work. Kind of put that out there, add some little bit of character to the area. It's hard to see until you're here, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of the red and white, but I prefer more silver or even just all white. But I think that looks pretty good so far. So let's turn off our terrain lines and kind of see what we've got. We've got one building in there already. That is not how I wanted you to. Well, I guess you're a corner shop, so I think that's okay. Then, kind of another thing that I was looking at was, we've got this school here, but I think it needs a little bit more. An elementary school that's gonna have some need for the kids to be able to play. And right now, it currently does not have anything for the kids to do besides come out here and get on the buses and go. And I mean, you can see we've got quite a bit of activity here, but nothing for the kiddos to do. And the whole area itself really is kind of lacking in a park facility. So let's see if we can get them something that is good for them. So neighborhood park 4x4. Let's see. Feel like we have. I feel like we have something a little bit larger. That's a 6x4. Let's see, what's the large playground? Yeah, I think the large playground might work, but I feel like in this case we kind of want it to fit in with the school as kind of a feature of the school that it brings to the community. So we're going to come in here and grab our normal roads so that we can turn on our grids. We're going to pause and turn off collision so that we can add the zoning in here. And then we'll turn collision back on. We'll turn bending back on. Now let's grab our large playground. And I think having it kind of right there gives it a good look, a good feel. It connects to the road, so you can access it from outside the school, but it also allows the kids to, with teacher escort, kind of come over here and bring them over for recess. It gives them a little bit something more to do. One of the things I think we're going to do, though, because it doesn't really fit the surrounding aesthetic, is I think we're going to grab, let's go up here to our unified UI. We're going to grab Bob, and we're going to come in here, and I want to grab the whole structure. There we go. And let's grab our trees. So for these trees, I think we're going to look for some sort of pine. So let's see. Probably not that. That's a little taller than I'd want. A little thinner. That's not too bad, but still probably not what we're after. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's do that. We'll replace the pine trees there, and then our tree variant. And we're gonna do just come on. We're gonna do okay. What's going on here? Let's move you. I'm going to grab just this one. I don't want to, well, I guess we can go ahead and do that. So let's see. And then that one I think gives a little bit more. That's a little too big, so we can do, I think with those we can do that. So let's replace that. And then that kind of makes that fit in a little bit nicer. Looks a little more realistic with kind of the other trees that we have in the area. So we've got our playground in place. We already have a fair amount of activity here. And let's take a look and see. Provides a little bit of luxury to these folks. One of the things I think we can do too, if we come in here, is kind of add a park area for our city center. One of the things I was thinking for this park is something a little more business-like. We have a fancy park. Um, Maybe even something next to the hospital. Let's see. Chill Park. That one's pretty large. But you know what? Well, that's going to kind of overshadow the the hospital. But this one actually might not be a bad spot. If we come in here, put that right there. And looks like we do actually want to rotate that one. So let's grab this one and let's flip it around like this. Just make sure we're lined up the way we need to be. And I think we'll bring it right up against here. So that way it kind of looks like it's helping, you know, City Hall, and it has some hospital access to that side of it. So I think that adds a little bit of value to that area. You know, people can come, they can relax if they're waiting to get in to see an official or anything. They have a park area that they can go to. So let's see, our buildings are kind of significantly sunk given the direction that they're going. I don't really like the way this is playing out, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to get rid of this back row. That way we can have them all facing the same direction, and we'll get rid of that tree and that tree. That way they're all kind of facing the same direction, and I think it's probably fair to say that we can have this line up there, and then we'll slope these. And so then it kind of mirrors the main road a little bit. Helps them kind of fit. So we've got our little city center going on here. We'll grow that and develop that over time. Another thing that we're going to need, as we can see, our elementary school availability is getting full at this point. So we might actually look at putting another elementary school over on this side of town. We do have enough space out here, kind of in this area, or maybe even around the curve. I think we'll look at putting one over here. So if we go over here, we can see that we used the Hayes Elementary last time. So we'll pick a different school for this side so that they kind of have some variety in their looks. Let's see, what do we got? American Elementary School. This one might work. This actually might not be too bad. So I like schools to kind of be a center point, you know, at least a visually attractive, aesthetically attractive area or building for the area. Makes some sense about its flow. So I'm thinking for this one, we might actually want to kind of try and put it along so like you can see it looking down this road. So if we do that, we're going to need our bus route. So let's grab our 1U road. And I think it makes sense to start somewhere that's not this road because we want it to be centered there. But if we bring it, let's see, let's get a guideline here. I want to bring it down there, and then we can bring it like that. And that is, it says 10. So if we go 10, then we can bring it like that, and then we'll just flip them around. And then we'll get rid of this one. So that kind of gives the buses access. And let's go grab our school again. And if we put it, we're going to want to be able to see the school, so we'll kind of put it about right there. Nope, you know what? We're going to pick a different school. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Let's see. That's a very industrial looking school. Let's see. What's that one look like? It's not the best, but it does actually remind me of, well, not my elementary school. It does kind of remind me of my high school. So, um, this doesn't have much of an entrance for it. Let's see. Let's see if we have anything. What are you? Let's come down here. Well, that doesn't help. Shopping cart shelter. Nope, not gonna be you. Let's see if we have anything that might work as kind of a like an awning or an entryway or anything for that. Not roof. Probably not shelter. We'll have to play around with that and see if we can come up with something, because I feel like that definitely needs something there in the front, because it's very kind of stagnant in the front. But I think overall the facility itself works. It's already got a little playground, so we just need to add a little bit of parking in here for it. So we use our favorite little parking assets here. And I'm thinking in this case, we might actually have two. We'll come up here and grab this one, and then we'll come up here and grab that one. And if we come in, that'll kind of terminate right into the school. And then this one can be a little bit longer for some of the needs. So we have like teacher or like visitor parking, and then like teacher. Oh, hey, there we go. And we got airport areas. We're a little ways away from airport areas, postal service, things like that. But we'll get there eventually. Actually, postal service might not be a bad idea. Small town like this. So let's grab our tool here, and let's bring you around, and we're going to actually let that kind of flex a little. And then we'll come over here, do the same, and we'll bring you around. We're going to let you flex a little just to kind of maybe straighten out. And let's see. Nope, you're still angled not quite right. There we go. Now let's check you. There we go. All right, so if we add in our park roads, now that we have them, our park paths, we can come in here. We'll turn off grid so that we can kind of grab it, and we're just going to come straight down. And that gives, you know, a connecting path into that side of the school. And then we'll do the same thing actually all the way from there to about there. And that gives us kind of access all the way around for our parking lots. Now we just need to add in the spaces, and I think we'll be good to go. We're going to add in our handicap spacing over on this side. And we're just going to bring that right in there. And then we'll add our regular spacing up there. Let's come over here, grab one of our larger spaces. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Now we just need to get it water and power. So to start with, I think we're just going to come straight across until we're ready to kind of develop that area. Come in there. And then, I see my issue. There we go. So let's come up. And we'll bring it around and connect. So that gives us water. And then I think for the time being, if we look, we've kind of got some power lines already in place here. So I think we'll just kind of bring these up and along. Oh, a little too far. Keep kind of our spacing. So let's see. 9. And we'll just bring this all the way down there. And then connect like that. And that'll give us power to our school. All right, so we have our second school in place for Crescent Square. Let's take a look at our city services, kind of see how we're doing on trash. Landfill's still doing pretty good. Medical, still doing fairly well, which I would expect. You know, we don't have a whole lot of medical out here. You know, we might actually be able to solve that. So looking for kind of a smaller, little more generic, maybe even something related to like student health. Might be able to bring something in over there, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Yeah, I think we're still a minute away from having another medical facility over there. So fire, definitely do need additional fire coverage. We're pretty limited back here. So let's grab you. You're almost as big as the school, but it is a public area. So if we bring in fire there, that can be like a school maintenance building. We'll treat it as, even though it's got the fire trucks with it. So, and then police, we're pretty good on police coverage. 4% crime rate's pretty typical. So I don't think we need to add anything in for the, anything additional for police. Education, we're good now on elementary. We just need a high school. So, high school is going to be a little more involved. And it's going to be a little bit larger feature of the community. You know, I know when my wife and I relocated, the school system was significantly important to us, especially the quality of the high school where our older kids were going to go, and then our youngest was going to eventually reach. So we definitely want to have a good quality high school. So let's look at our facilities here. Standard city high school, community high school. That's very similar to my high school. Let's see. Regis, that's a larger school. It's very, very attractive school as well. And so, you know what? I think we'll go with that one. And in doing so, we got to kind of think out our parking lot and roadways, because the high school is going to have a few more amenities than your elementary school is going to have. Your elementary school really only needs like a playground for the kids to play at. But the high school has any number of sports and activities for the kids. And you really do want to be able to, as much as the community can support, provide that to them. I think is, you know, for me, as somebody who lives in our community, that's one of the things that our school has is any number of various activities that the kids can participate in, so they don't just sit around stagnant. Because you know, for our kids, if they're stagnant, you know, they're going to get themselves into some trouble. So we definitely want to be able to provide that. So in looking at this, I'm thinking that we're definitely going to want at least one access point off the main road here. And it can even go all the way through. We're going to limit commercial vehicles on this road. So I think it might not actually be too bad of an idea if we bring this up, let's say to about, we'll call it 15. And then let's see if we can turn our road guidelines on and bring this out and connect it off of that road. So let's go back to our school, see what that looks like with the school connected to it. Let's see what this looks like up against there. How's that look coming down the road? Yeah, you know, I think I can live with that. You know, it's a pretty beautiful asset. So we're going to have a little bit of move it here and bring that out, and then bring that out just like that. So it's a little more like this section connects. There we go. And that can be for buses as well. I think though, and it's growing less and less on me. So why don't we get rid of this section and this section? Let's go back here, grab our drive road. Let's bring this straight out to there. And then if we curve at this point, that works a little bit better. So that keeps the school on the straight road. So from here, I think we're going to have a parking lot kind of out front here. And probably a fairly large parking lot, I think. Being that it is the high school. Let's see. I don't think that's going to work. So we'll leave just that parking lot. And then let's come in. Let's move this off just a hair here. Kind of solve some of that clipping. This can be like visitor and guest parking. We don't want the students necessarily crossing the roadway there. What happens if... Yeah, see, I don't like how that does that. So let's go back, see what this does. Turn off our road guidelines and our grid. Let's bring you out. And then turn off our snapping as well. Turn on anarchy. Let's pause, turn off collision. And that is just way too many lights. So, let's see if we can get rid of those real quick. Come here, Bob. There we go. All right, I'm okay with that. So, it gives us kind of our visitor parking. We're gonna need come in here and put in our roadways. And again, you know, we're going to want some handicap parking kind of up in the front area. So let's start over here. And let's grab our handicap parking, and then we'll continue that way. So this one, the rest of it can be just good old regular parking. All right, let's make sure we line up as best we can anyway. All right. And same thing down here. All right. I think that works. Significant parking, that way if there's the need for parking for like sporting events or anything like that. And then we can come in here, grab our drive again. And I think this will be student parking. So let's grab our snapping, turn our collision back on. And for this roadway, we'll give students another access point. And then that might just be too much parking. So let's see, how many students do we have in here? 3,000. Oh, that's a fair amount of students. We might need a fair amount of parking. So let's come in here. We're gonna grab our drive. Then we'll go up. We'll go up to there for now. And then we're just gonna bring this over to there. And we'll bring that to there. Connect our drive. And connect our drive. And then I think we can get rid of that section. Now let's just fix our junctions. Let's see. All right. No clipping. Perfect. So let's come in here and grab some more parking spaces. Let's see. And I'm sure this is exceptionally excessive parking for a high school. But it's not going to be just used for the high school exclusively. And we'll fix some of the clipping issues we have here in just a second. And we got a little bit of overlap. That's okay. It still works. So, fix our clipping issues. We need to come in here. Where are you? There's one. Nope. Nope. Come on. There we go. Almost. All right. Now we're going to object height there. And, oh. Well, fortunately, we haven't built anything over here, so we're going to grab you. And we're going to make you the same height as that. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to do the same all the way along the road, try and save some of our clipping issues. There we go. And now there's barely a grade on the road. That's not too bad. I mean, you'd notice the downhill. Ooh, oh, that's just the way it turned. Okay. Barely notice a grade. So let's come back in here and grab our trusty pathway. Fill in some of that gap. Same here. And it looks like we've got a little bit more. So, you know what? Actually, I think we'll do in this case. So we'll just come in, grab our painter brush. We'll just paint this in. Get rid of that gap. There we go. I think that looks pretty good, all things considered. Now we just need to add some connecting pathways around the building, but I think for the time being, let's see what our paintbrush does here. Now, I'm not a huge fan of how that connects like that, how it creates the crack in the sidewalk, but I think for the time being, that will fill that in nicely. Let's see. I think we can go ahead and I think we'd be justified to run this all the way up. It's a pathway for the students to be able to walk. And then we can add in our connections for some of the sporting event venues. So, see, I think the first thing we want is going to be a football field. So let's look at our parks here. See, that's track. Let's see. Let's just go down here and find it. Football. Football stadium. Here we go. So this is definitely something that I think would be very, very welcome. So I want it's pavement path. Okay, so let's see. I think we're going to want to connect. So let's snap. Yeah. So we'll bring this. And then I think I want to bring that out. Just like that. So if we come back in, this will give people, we'll fill that in so people have some kind of walkways. And we're going to find our football stadium again. Here we go. And let's see, football is usually one of the centerpieces for a high school in my area. So we'll kind of make that the centerpiece there. Oh, you don't like that, do you? Well, that's unfortunate given that you snapped to it, but that's okay. We'll fix that. Let's see. Well, we have our two-lane county road. I think that'll work. We'll just restrict vehicle access on this. So people will have to walk. So we have football. We have our high school soccer field. Back there. And then we also have a couple of baseball. So let's see. high school baseball. So let's grab our roadway again. And I think in this case, we're going to kind of loop around. And let's bring you out so we can kind of connect. And let's get rid of that. And let's grab our baseball stadium. So let's see. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And let's kind of give this a more natural curve. Let's bring you down. And we'll bring you down. And we'll do the same thing here, but we'll give this one a much wider. What do we got here? 7, 7. So let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of that. And we'll curve this around. So grid and road guidelines. There we go. That kind of gives us our stadiums for our high school activities, as well as parking. So there is a little bit of walking, but that's not too bad. We'll grab our trusty path. I think we'll bring ourselves, let's pause, bring ourselves up with collision off. It gives kind of a connection. We'll bring that over, give a connection there. I think I needed to go just a hair bit further. Well, close enough. And then from here, let's see. That's a doorway. So we're going to bring that over. That is a doorway as well. And as well as, okay, turn off grid and road guidelines. As well as this. Let's bring that in. Just like that. And grab our surface painter, give a little bit more. Oh, I see. Not a fan of that. But I see what it's doing. So let's bring this out. A little here. And this can kind of be like a gathering area for the students. It's a little larger than I'd like though. So let's see if we can back that off just a hair. There we go. Kind of gives an area for the students to gather, get their equipment, things like that. Because we can imagine that's the gymnasium. You know, this kind of leads to the locker rooms, perhaps. And then I want to fix, we see this little bump here. I want to fix that, smooth that out a little bit. Have less of an issue for the kids. Okay, you don't want to do that. Oh, come on. You're so close. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's still, well, that's okay. It'll work for now, for the time being, but that gives us kind of our arenas, our sports areas for the students, as well as it also provides kind of a park services for the rest of the community. So let's make sure we have our collision back on, turn off anarchy. Um, yeah, so I think that that really helps kind of capture this community, this area. Let's take a look here and we can see um, we're not quite leveling up yet. Kind of see some of those more historic homes that we had selected for this theme. That's kind of one of them right there. I think that's one of them there. Gives a more historic feel to the community. We may have to go back through and check some of the sizes that we have as far as it relates to those buildings. And then I think the last thing we'll do for today is we're going to kind of come in here and we have an increasing commercial demand. So I think I'd like to address that. But you know what? I think I'm going to kind of wait. I think we'll add an area over here. Maybe address some of the commercial issue, and then that way it'll allow us to fill up our residential space kind of in this area. So you know what? I think we'll go ahead and call it there for today. One of the things I want to do in the next episode too. So for the time being, we have been using, oh, I don't like that at all. How does that? Yeah, nope, that road just dips down there. So let's see if we can fix that just a bit. I'm not a huge fan of how steep that is. There we go. And then grab this, and slope. There we go. That's better. Not a huge fan of the way that was dipping there. But I think next time I want to come through, we've been using the kind of stock roads of this area, and that's not really a good feel. I don't think so. Make sure we get all our traffic lights turned off here. It's not really a good feel for the area. I think we can do something better than these lined roads in kind of a more suburban area. Hey, good timing. Our wonderful house here caught on fire. Let's see what's our response time. See how long it takes them to get over here to take care of this. There they come. That's not too bad. The house isn't, it's got some damage here, but it's not significant damage yet. It's still salvageable. I think they're going to be able to replace some of that. Still, well, no, I guess there was some pretty good damage there. So might have to look at increasing the response time of our fire departments. But again, we have this one over here as well. So, I mean, overall, I think our coverage is pretty good. Yeah. So, with that being said, next time we'll kind of flesh out some more of the commercial, meet our demand, add some more residential, and kind of update the roadways a little bit, add some more character, kind of detail a little bit more of the city as we have it so far. So if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see, please do let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And with that, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye-bye.